If you come down a bit and speak near the mic here, we might be able to get some of these questions. Thanks, Jen.
I've had a pretty tough week, a lot of emotions, a lot of crying, a lot of frustrations, but I think the core of it is about a relationship that I had with a man about 5 years ago. He ended it after 2 years, and I felt okay about that because I felt as though there was stuff that I couldn't stand about him either, you know. But now I kind of understand that it's about emotional wounds and us, you know, bantering against each other. About 12 months ago, I went camping with some friends and he was there, and all of a sudden it was like, friggin' hell, I'm in love with this man again. It was just so intense and so emotional, and I thought, what is this all about? So for this last year I have been fighting this, and I've talked to him about it. He's with another woman at the moment, but all I could say was, I feel so happy when I'm in his presence, and that's the biggest part that I can't handle. And I'm wondering if it's because he's my soulmate, and I just don't know how to deal with it. I don't want to feel like I'm somebody stalking him. I don't want to push him away with the friendship that I have, but I don't know how to deal with it, and it's affecting the rest of me. This last week at work has just been, everything has been annoying me, and I've been crying a lot, and last night and this morning I realised every time I say the word pain, I'm just so in pain, and I want to get rid of it, but I want to know how to deal with this. I feel as though I've got to leave the coast because I can't seem to get anywhere with it. So if you've got any insights, please, magic wand.
Jen, I would just say you've got to deal with the emotions that it's triggering. You know, I don't know if even if you know that someone's your soulmate, or if you think someone's your soulmate, it's still in the end just a relationship, and everyone's got to own their stuff and work through what the emotions are. And like, I have been asked a lot of times, and AJ gets asked all the time, about whether this person's my soulmate or that person's my soulmate, and my answer is always the same, but it's possibly because of some emotions I still carry. But I always say, why does it matter to you? Because in the end, if you're attracted to this person, or if you're in an interaction with this person, that's your law of attraction to deal with whatever emotion's there. And in the end, the more we deal with our emotions, it's going to, the souls will be attracted anyway. So I don't, see, the emotion I still have is, just because you know it's your soulmate doesn't solve everything. Sorry, I've got to own what's coming through there. But yeah, that's how I feel. Like, no matter what, you still got to deal with the stuff that's there.
Well, like this morning I just said, right, that's it, I'm not thinking about it anymore, I'm moving on from that, and then all of a sudden it comes down on me again. And I know I've got to keep working through the emotions of it.
Do you know what the causal is though?
I think it's abandonment from me.
Yeah. So go there. Because often a lot of people, and that's the other issue that I have had over the past year about people, if they believe that someone's their soulmate, then they stay in it, and it's all about that person, and we've got, and all of this emphasis on these souls have got to be together. But your soulmate, or whoever you're in a relationship with, triggers your causal emotion. So no matter how much we want to say, oh, he did this, this and he's that or whatever, if it's not looking at our cause, like, then it's not going to solve anything anyway. We're just trying to change somebody else. And if this guy is your soulmate, or even if he isn't, if you deal with the feeling abandoned as a, by men, that's going to make it easier for him to step closer to you anyway. Because at the moment, he can feel that on the soul level. That's what I think.
If I could just make a few additional comments to you. With the situation you're in, there's this strong desire to avoid the causal emotion. And while you've been crying, you've actually been crying a lot about the effects of not being with this man, right? And that isn't the causal emotion. The causal emotion is this deep emotion about being abandoned by your own father, right? From an emotional level. And that's the emotion that you avoid. And see, what we do when we have this really strong, powerful emotions inside of us, we then have a tendency to go for the addiction. So in this case, you have a soul longing for your soulmate, because I can feel that longing from you. You believe this man might be your soulmate, but actually one of the greatest, he might be, and I'm not saying he is or he isn't at this point, even if I might know, right? But the important thing is that right at the moment, he is a trigger back to this causal emotion of being abandoned by somebody you desperately want to love you. And that's the emotion you need to allow yourself to feel. Once you feel that emotion, the irony is, if this man is your soulmate, he will actually feel more attracted to you after you felt the emotion than he could feel now. Because at the moment, what he would have to do is to feel this needy feeling inside of you to not be abandoned. Does that make sense? And that's not love. So in the end, you need to go through, as Mary said, go through the causal emotion, which is always going to be related to your childhood in some way, and not to this relationship with the man. Now, when you do meet your soulmate, often your soulmate triggers the biggest emotional responses in you. And in fact, many of those emotional responses, because you have injuries inside of yourself, they're going to be so powerful and overwhelming that you're just going to want to run away from that person and never want to see them again. I've been talking recently to a friend of mine overseas in the Bahamas, and she's got this thing going on with her soulmate. She sees him quite often in the street, and she knows he's her soulmate, and she feels so angry with him that he doesn't want to be with her. And she keeps ringing me up and saying, I'm a good woman, I'm looking really good now, and because she's worked through all of these emotions, and she's looking quite good now and feeling really confident in herself. Why doesn't he want me? And instead of getting deeper than that, she's just focusing, why doesn't he want me? She knows he is her soulmate. Why doesn't he want me? When in reality the issue is about her dad that she hasn't worked through yet, and not allowing herself to work through because it's quite painful. And instead wants to solve this addiction that's inside of her by getting a person who's her soulmate, or even who she wants to believe is her soulmate, to satisfy those unhealed emotions within herself. Because in the end, what will happen is you will attract your soulmate when you no longer need them. Do you understand that? You will attract your soulmate when you no longer need them, no longer angry with them, no longer... And we think about it, if your soulmate is of the opposite sex, let's say you're a woman and your soulmate's a man, if you have any anger with men issues inside of yourself, you're already at the soul level rejecting your soulmate. Right? And until that emotion is healed, you will not attract your soulmate. And if you have any feelings of neediness towards men, you are at that moment rejecting your soulmate. And the only time your soulmate could come to you with that emotion in you is if he is also willing to look after a needy woman. Does that make sense? In other words, if his emotions were compatible with yours. The only way really to attract a soulmate is for your emotions to be so compatible with everybody that at the end you'll attract a soulmate whatever his condition or her condition is.
And the ironic thing is I'm having the best relationship with my dad at the moment that I've had.
Yeah.
All my life.
And remember last 2 weeks ago, I said to you that that's causing you to hold on to some of these emotions. Because you don't want to go down the track of saying, Dad, you were a naughty dad back then. You know, that's you because he's now nice to you, and you've got a good relationship now. But there's all this unhealed emotions.
I don't want to get angry with you.
That's right.
I want it to be, because I've always wanted it.
You want it to be fixed, is now you're getting what you need, and this is part of the addiction. Yeah. And now you're just transferring that addiction onto this man who you feel is your soulmate. So the key is to just go back into the emotion. Go and see him as many times as you can to trigger you. Do the opposite of what you feel like doing. Definitely don't leave the sun-drunk host. You know, let every time you see this person, let it trigger you, and understand that it's related to your dad. No worries. Jen's going to go for a walk in the garden. So she's so good at processing emotions. I'm so impressed with her.